Simulation Theory, Chapter 8, Part 2 by Jonathan Lippe. An experiment. Try this out for one day. Change your approach and believe the following for 24 hours. The news is all made up. All movies are true stories. Life is a big video game. You chose your life in another dimension. The news is a telethon to get you to agree to pay higher taxes for more government workers because they claim they are overwhelmed and behind. The tabloid reality TV scheme. Premise. Reality TV took airtime away from celebrities. Celebrities are fighting back with their own version of reality TV. It is scripted and foreshadowed, yet appears as if the events are true stories really happening. The reality is, it is the tabloids coming to life. It is entertainment news that spans across many mediums to the internet and print and radio. It is TV where the viewer really thinks it is reality, but it is a giant scripted story aired through the news as real over the course of a month or a year. Some of the players: Michael Jackson, Eminem, Madonna, Britney Spears, Paris Hilton, Lindsay Lohan, Angelina Jolie, Kobe Bryant, Anna Nicole Smith, all have had their own reality TV program that people really thought was real. Publicity stunts presented as news. Press release campaigns presented as news. Daily updates. I find it hilarious, but people think it's actually real. How they do ya. Disinfo. Discredit info. Discredit source. Personal attacks. Circular finger pointing. Problem reaction solution. Selective exposure. Status conferral. Planting evidence. Rationalization and patriotism that blinds. Fallacies of logic. Deconditioning your mind. Are the majority of people having a quality gaming experience? Or are they living their lives how someone else wants them to live it? How to control the psychology of man through logical ideas and physical deprivation. Heaven and hell. Sex deprivation. Freedom, the illusory idea. Enslavement through fear. Enslavement through happiness. Morals, honor. Put people against each other. Selective exposure. Positive and negative reinforcement. Propaganda. Nationalism, patriotism, whatever Al-Qaeda says to get people to suicide bomb, whatever the Japanese did to create kamikazes. I saw a great documentary called Happiness Machines about Edward Bernays and the creation of the field of public relations, which was a word he coined to replace propaganda. If you could find it, watch it. Look up Edward Bernays on Wikipedia. There are some of you that by this point in the book are like, dude, you just figured all this out now? I'm hyping everyone else the stuff that I would have been better off with knowing a long time ago. How to use the secret. In my book in 2002, I wrote about how to use the secret, but I didn't know it was called the secret. I discovered it on my own and wrote about the phenomena. A much more successful book, DVD and CD has come out called The Secret that explains the same phenomena, but did it with a much higher budget and better writers. I'm sure you've heard of The Secret by now. According to the book, the secret is the law of attraction. Here's how to use it. From my experience, you have to have planted seeds in your life so the universe can create a realistic outcome. The seeds in your life come through good deeds you've done, networking you have made with people, small things that turn out to be foreshadowing events. The good deeds you do in life are like contributing to an investment fund, and when you use the secret, it's like withdrawing from your account. The universe and God can only create what you've planted. It has to be realistic, what you made possible in your life. You also have to believe in the secret. You can ask for things that exceed what you believe you've invested in your good deeds fund, but know that the universe has a sense of humor about this. The universe will always respond to your request, though. If you ask for $10 million but know you don't really deserve it, the universe will present you with an undesirable opportunity to earn $10 million, and you will turn it down. The universe will then say, you asked, and I provided, and you turned me down. You don't really want $10 million. If you did, you'd take this opportunity. Be careful of what you wish for. You may get it. Sometimes you may find you didn't really want the outcome you asked for, even though it is literally what you asked for. You should be specific with what you asked for and anticipate the ways the universe will enable your wish to happen. Again, the universe uses the possibilities you've provided it. I called The Secret in my previous book Heaven's Movie and Subconscious Self-Concept. I found that anytime I needed an answer to a question I had, I would just ask the universe, and the universe would provide me with an answer. Sometimes I would ask trees, and the trees would respond with an image in my head that answered the question. I tried this theory out many times, and it has worked every time. I became so confident that it always works that I shared it with my buddy Mike. We were on one of our information sharing walks one Florida summer night during summer break from college, and I told him about the phenomena that I had discovered. I said we could know the answer to anything we want. I wanted to demonstrate this to him, so I asked what he wanted to know about. He said he wanted to know what the difference between 10-dimensional and 24-dimensional realities are. String theory was a popular subject at the time, so after he told me what he wanted to know, I opened my arms to the sky and asked, "Universe, we would like to know the difference between 10-dimensional and 24-dimensional realities." We got back to my house. Back then, the internet was dial-up, and we thought maybe we could find information on there. The internet didn't have as much information back then as it does today. As soon as my modem connected, my parents came home from a meeting they were at. My mother had a book in her hand. She said, "A lady at the meeting found this book in a garbage dumpster and thought you might want it." I received the book and looked at the title with Mike. The title of the book read, "Hyperspace, a scientific odyssey through parallel universes, time warps, and the 10th dimension." We were still sort of sweating from being outside, and the answer came to us in less than a half hour. I handed the book to Mike and said, "The universe provided the answer. Now it's up to us to read this 359-page book to understand it." Another story. One time my college buddies and I were on spring break on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and a beach bum started a conversation with us. He asked us what majors we were majoring in. I said mass communication, and my two friends both said advertising. The bum said, "Advertising majors, huh? Your job is to tell people what to buy because they don't know what to spend their money on until you tell them." I think it was meant for us to have that conversation with that guy. That altered our perception of advertising ever after. The secret is real. It works in abstract and metaphorical ways. In the DVD, they show you checks coming in the mail, which may be a result for you. In my life, it has provided money for me when I've needed it most. It works. I use it mostly for knowledge, wisdom, and guidance, not financial gain unless necessary. But you could use it for financial gain. It's your genie in the bottle. It provides whatever you have allowed it to provide. Ask the question, and you will be answered. It won't always be obvious, but it will be answered. The universe listens. You know how the proverb says, "When the student is ready, the teacher will appear." Creating something out of nothing. Internet phenomenons. The people of the internet are the funniest group of people and very creative. They are the best at creating something out of nothing. The "all your base or belong to us" phenomenon was hilarious. The Spirit of Truth, Hot in Our Din, Chacarone, Charlie the Unicorn, and all other internet phenomenons are wonderful. I love when things take on a life of their own. Jim Rome. Jim Rome can harp on a topic and look at it from about 100 different angles. Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith has made a career out of making something out of nothing. All of the discussions that take place in his movies like Jedi Politics, Lois Lane could not have Superman's baby, The Cookie Stand is not part of the food court, and all of the others are wonderful. Spin-offs. Star Wars fans. The Han shot first controversy is hilarious. The way the fans get upset anytime anything gets added to the movie is equally funny. It is like they want the original Bible and nothing else. Everything else is blasphemy. I personally prefer the remastered editions with the extra footage and digitally overlaid extra spaceships. Blasphemy! Star Wars cult members. I've noticed that there is a Star Wars cult going on. They are people who have gone beyond the 6 movies. They have read the books and a ton of other things. I try to become enlightened as to the extra stories of the expanded universe of Star Wars, but apparently in this culture, you have to read it yourself to know the truth. Many of these people pledge allegiance to the dark side and the Sith code openly, and that sort of frightens me. There is like a secret password that you say to someone who has read about the expanded universe for them to disclose information with you. I haven't figured out what it is yet. Maybe I'll read some of the books and find out. They share knowledge of the Force amongst each other and stories of George Lucas's created universe like it's real. It's great. I wish they'd talk to me. MMORPG gamers. These people plug their lives into a virtual world of video gaming. They are plugged into another matrix. They know the geography of the video game they are playing better than they know the geography of Earth. What happens in the video game world affects their real-life emotions. It is an interesting thing. Selling virtual items in a video game world with real-world currency is amazing. The goods get traded in the virtual world by meeting up somewhere in the virtual world. People actually plan to meet up somewhere in a virtual world, and their characters meet and trade. The online game Second Life has its own currency. The fact that the Linden dollar is a recognized form of currency with an exchange rate is incredible. A message to young people. There are 6.5 billion people on Earth, and it is going to keep growing. Learn all you can. Become valuable. Discipline yourself. Do things that seem hard or inconvenient. Learn why you think how you think. Be in control of your emotions. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. It is a long-term strategy. Be positive. Love life. Be honest with yourself and others. Be nice to people. Spread seeds of love. Do random acts of kindness every day. What you give to the world gives back to you. Find what makes you smile. All right, John, what is it that you want then? Open dialogue. Put it all on the table. How things are going down on the entire planet. Who controls what? How they control it? How long have they controlled it? How did they even control it in the first place? Explain why they control it. There is a good reason. A person is smart, but people are dumb and dangerous. Announcements. I want the truth about existence to be announced to all. If no one knows the truth about existence, that should be revealed as well. This would be a revelation because systems of control are put in place professing to know the truth of existence when they do not. I want people to be liberated from the deception, the lies, and informed as to what their existence means and allowed to pursue their destiny. Some humans seem like zombies. They're the walking dead, the living dead. They've had their living experience stolen from them. No thought processes are going through their minds. Then I see other people who have no regard for the human mules and sheep and use them for their own individual benefit. They further keep people in the dark to retain control. It can be said that people who are used want to be used, but those that want to be used just haven't been taught self-respect. Maybe they were intentionally not taught self-respect so they could become a person that can be used. Withholding information that can liberate a person spiritually drives me up the wall. Any infringement upon freedom angers me. Any act of wrongful imprisonment or enslavement angers me. People should understand the agendas of all levels, how the machine works, so they don't spend a lifetime cursing the darkness. Understand the pyramid. I would like complete openness about everything, acknowledgement, disclosure, honesty. What we have now is a world of spin, complete spin, everything is spin. My head is spinning. Is that what you want? No straight answers? A world of spin? That is what we have. I know we keep military secrets for national security to protect us from our enemies and to give us an upper hand. I understand that. I'm on board with that. But if they have free energy devices that can liberate us from paying for power and are intentionally suppressing it, that grinds my gears. I know I can invent these things myself, but I don't have the time because I have to work to earn money to purchase energy. I want the hand guide to Earth issued to all humans that are born. Welcome to Earth. Here's what you missed. Here's what to expect. I want children to be encouraged to remember where they came from before they came to Earth. I want people to not be afraid of the answers they get. I would like to bring the concepts of this book to life and make a living doing this somehow. I just don't know how. I want people to stop investing money into things that harm the long-term health of mankind for a short-term gain. I dared to think different and discovered a big lie played on people so vast and sophisticated it boggles the mind. They play with your emotions, desires, and waste your life. You live your life for their cause, not yours. You are living in someone else's world. Take in everything you sense and evaluate it. What does it mean? What are the motives? What is the intent? What is the desired outcome? For 1 year, subscribe to a bunch of science magazines like IEEE Spectrum, Scientific American, Popular Science, Discovery, and others, all at the same time, so you get bombarded with the latest information available on what is out there. Let the subscriptions expire after 1 year because there is only so much they disclose and only so much your mind can handle. Commitment to self. For my own life, I try to be the best I can be. I admit when I'm wrong. I apologize. I confess. I identify my potential for manipulation while engaging in conversation. I admit my motives. I vocalize my truth. I try and make sure that I'm not hurting anyone on my journey. I consider others. Sometimes I hurt others by what I say, but I try and apologize for hurting their feelings. I always expect the best out of people, which upsets people because they're not always up to giving their best. I understand this. I just want people to feel the belief and confidence I have in them to achieve whatever goal they have. This goal always requires that word we all hate, sacrifice. I am the bearer of bad news and good news. The bad news is that you have to sacrifice. The good news is that you can achieve your goals. Why is it so hard for so many people to just be good? You can create your own reality. Think, live your own life. Not someone else's. Express. Believe in yourself. How do we advance the dual legacy agenda? Persons from all over the earth are beginning to awaken to their spirituality and know there is much more to their existence. Dual legacy is about this movement. It used to be called the Millenaissance movement, a renaissance of the new millennium. This movement of awakening and enlightening and discovery is what it's all about. It encompasses all of the new mythologies like The Matrix, Star Wars, New Age, RPG video games, computer programming, quantum theory, nerdcore, electronica, the paranormal, ufology, alternative energy, environmentalism, global peace, alternative lifestyles, internet communities, wikis, everything that is the 21st century way of life. It's a collection of everything. We are the creators of the new millennium. We are the people at the turn of the century that will define it. The people of the previous turn of the century created amazing things like airplane flight, automobiles, and great advancements in science. We shall repeat this greatness. We are the creators. No limits, no boundaries. We must create standards for dual legacy, Millenaissance movement, materials, artifacts, art, etc. We've created the dual legacy seal of approval that you'll see at the beginning of this book for movies, music, TV shows, books, etc. that mean if the seal of approval is on it, you will get a return on your investment of time. You will learn something or be enlightened. We shall create a network of information sharing. The more we create a demand for enlightenment, the more enlightening things will come out. I'd like to see a more open world video games come out with enlightening things to experience collectively. Let us begin working on the total knowledge database and figure out how we could rapidly re-educate persons when they are reborn. How can we take the current school curriculum and make the methods of delivering the information more efficient so we can put more information into a shorter period of time? Have a worldwide cause. Everyone on the planet drop everything to build a fully automated society so that after building it, none of us would ever have to work again and can figure out a whole new worldwide way of life where everyone has abundance. Imagine the improved productivity if everyone was working together instead of in all of the individual companies and countries. We could build it in 1 to 5 years. What is our worldwide goal anyway? To keep working forever and ever? When do we get to stop working? Let us define what it is we are trying to create. We have to have a destination in order to begin building the road. We should improve the undesirable things about life. How can we create a society that understands the value of sleeping and exercising? How can we make life enjoyable for all? How can we deal with and re-engineer undesirable behaviors? How can we remove fear? How can we remove violence? The constant pursuit of knowledge and the sharing of it is what dual legacy is all about. The conversion of people to this awareness will become easier and easier as time goes on. Each day, people are discovering new truths and want to part ways with the old worldview and explore the new ones. Once we establish our curriculum, our foundation of information, more and more people will join. This curriculum should be concise, efficient, and straight to the point. Time is a valuable thing. If you support this movement, encourage others to visit my websites, read my books, listen to my music, watch my videos, and contact me. I do all of these things to advance mankind. I promote and pass on others works who enlighten. I am the teacher who provides information to those that seek it. I do not crusade. I spent a lifetime building these goals and ideals. I put myself out there open to ridicule to get us farther in life to create a more enriching life experience. Whenever I refer to myself as I'm not writing to talk about myself. These are statements I hope you begin to say about yourself. If we all give of ourselves, we will all have a wealth of everything. May the force be with you. Free energy now. Convincing people energy is scarce allows control through continuous warfare and economic enslavement. Nikola Tesla had many methods for free energy by taking the charge from the earth and distributing it. Discovery Channel showed that with a square mile of either solar panels or windmills in Nevada or somewhere in the Midwest could provide enough energy to power our entire country. Why doesn't that exist? UFOs have anti-gravity systems. Nuclear fusion has probably been achieved. Burning garbage, perpetual motion, geothermal energy, solar power, been powering NASA satellites for 30 plus years. Nuclear power, submarines stay underwater for a long time. Hydroelectric, the ocean is a perpetual motion machine. Trier fluid karma from Southland Tales. Suppressed technology will keep us all enslaved forever. Create a critical mass of people who demand that they are aware of the technologies that can free all of us from everything. You don't need to buy gasoline all of the time. You don't need to pay a monthly electric bill. Water is abundant on our planet. Solar energy hits us all the time. Break free from economic enslavement. If you didn't have bills, you wouldn't have to work. You could voluntarily work. But having recurring monthly bills is such a mean trick upon the population. Why can't we have our own power plants? This concludes Chapter 8. They have a plan, the New World Order, but do we have a plan? Many of the things discussed in this chapter have come to pass. We have some of these things now. The awareness that's out there now with social networking has exponentially increased. You know, I was like the only conspiracy theorist I knew back then, or the only person that spoke about controversial topics that weren't already allowed via television. And what I mean by that is, like, people could talk about surveillance after Snowden, but I was talking about it before Snowden. Not that that's even an important topic, but what I mean is, it's like once the government said it's okay to talk about surveillance with the Snowden thing in 2013, then suddenly everybody started talking about it. But it's like people don't talk about things until they're granted permission by television. I don't wait for permission. I just talk on it. And it could be about anything. Again, the surveillance thing, that's the smallest of orders. But energy in suppressed technology, I've been screaming about that only because I never received what I knew existed. So that's a big part of my whole thing, is to get people excited about talking about suppressed technology and demanding the technology so that everybody could have the technology to provide self-sufficiency, independence, and you can work if you want to. I want voluntary existence, not forced existence. And they'll say it's all voluntary employment, but it's not, because you need money to survive. And the reason you need it is artificially engineered. So back then, people just didn't believe the stuff that I'm talking about. So if you're hearing this stuff now, you're like, yawn, come on, dude. Who do you think you are? You think you're hot stuff? Well, back then, this was revolutionary. And this wasn't even that long ago. It's 2007. So it was 9 years ago. So a lot I'm happy. I'm thrilled that after publishing this, it's like the world started to become created in the image I wanted it to be based on this book. At the time, reality TV was a big topic. Reality TV is kind of like all TV now, where it's just kind of normal, no one cares. But back then, it was a big deal. And what I was seeing at that point was, basically they could just pull anybody off the streets and make a show, and it kind of diminished the value that professional actors had. And so I was seeing that the understanding of publicity stunts and mass media techniques weren't as widely understood and known about back then. So it was a big thing on my mind. Now you go on YouTube and everybody's talking about mass media mind control, but like back then, You tell people that the TV's lying to you and they'd have a problem with it. Now I'm pretty sure the majority of people would agree. Again, 9 years ago, the world was a lot different. But the publicity stunts that entertainers were running successfully and people believed it, and how people weren't able to differentiate between what's a publicity stunt and what's actually real news, that was maddening. There was a required course in my course study for mass communications called Critical Thinking, and in there we learned about the fallacies of logic and other things. But the fallacies of logic are a big deal. I shouldn't have only encountered that in college. I should have encountered that in high school. It really makes nearly every headline fallacious, and it really modifies when you get all the fallacies of logic mastered. So many things don't matter. Oftentimes, though, they get used for the wrong reason. So, like in debates, people will often say the fallacy of slippery slope negates the argument, but not necessarily true. Sometimes the slippery slope is actually a cause and effect kind of thing. But people will use that to just diminish and extinguish the argument, and don't let that happen. But my point is, learning what the fallacies of logic are, not just passively, you should really understand them, because they'll help you out so you won't get misled and manipulated and whatnot. Edward Bernays was a big deal for me when I first found out about him. He's super popular now in conspiracy communities, so everybody knows about him now. But again, back then, you could say the name and most people wouldn't know who he is. Nowadays, it's great. He's one of the most famous figures of conspiracy now, because he invented public relations as a replacement term for propaganda, and basically engineered our minds for nearly a century. And he's related to Sigmund Freud. Exit reality. Okay, there was a part where I was talking about Lyndon Dollar's Second Life. There was a browser. Here's one prediction I had that failed. There was a browser called Exit Reality, and it basically made your web browsing experience three-dimensional. And it said that the web initially was designed in 3D, but video cards at the time of 95, when the World Wide Web came out, video cards weren't capable yet of rendering 3D graphics. And that's why the background of your website was called wallpaper, because when you eventually get to experience the real 3D internet, it's wallpaper, not a background. And the Exit Reality browser gave you that whole 3D experience. And I experienced this in 2006. And I thought by now everything would be 3D. And in fact, barely anybody knows about the Exit Reality browser. I bring it up to people all the time, and they think I'm talking about something weird. And I'm like, no, dude, it's a real browser, Exit Reality. But it never took off. So there's one prediction. I was saying in this chapter that I admit when I'm wrong. I thought for sure Exit Reality, or at least a copycat, would make 3D internet browsing commonplace in 2016. Yet it still is not there. How? Why? I don't know. Why did Exit Reality fail? Not sure. Second Life, pretty interesting thing. Actually, Exit Reality kind of made the internet look like Second Life. I was talking about the MMORPGs. It's funny, when I was a freshman in college, there were kids that would lose their lives to text-based RPGs, where there was no graphics, it was just text. When I graduated, kids were losing their lives to full 3D immersion environments known as EverQuest. And then EverQuest evolved into what mainstream popular became World of Warcraft. I never played those games because I learned early on what those games can do to you. When I was in high school, I played this game called Earthbound on Super Nintendo. And that game consumed, I was in 10th grade, that game consumed me and my friends for 2 straight weeks. It was ridiculous. We didn't do anything but play Earthbound. And it even happened to me in college while those kids were playing EverQuest. NBA 2K on Dreamcast really consumed a lot of my time, because I made my own team with all my friends on it. So it felt like we were really playing and beating the NBA stars. So I had to get rid of my video games after that, because it was literally better than real life in a way. And finally, the law of attraction, the part where I was speaking on that's a true story. And I retell the story on my channel. I think like back in 2013, I made a video on it, maybe 2014. And I just want to offer it to you. Try it out, the law of attraction. I didn't know it was called the law of attraction. I really, it's true. I stumbled upon this by accident, and I started doing my own personal experiences, and I kept getting responses. Like, really, if I asked the universe a question, I get an answer to it within a week, tops. And then I started sharing it with friends, and then the time drastically reduced to a half hour. So if you have a question that you want answered, something philosophical, propose it to the universe and you'll probably get an answer. It may be direct. Somebody might literally come up to you and tell you the answer, but be open to receiving the answer because it may come indirectly. So that's all I want to say on that. It's funny. A lot of people now do believe in the law of attraction and practice it. Whereas when I spoke on this in 2009 and 2007, it was rough. Or people thought I was copycatting The Secret. And I'm like, nah, dude, I've been doing this my whole life, but actively as a science since like year 2000. In fact, you know what? As I was talking about, I want to do this full time. I'm still not there. My channel's growing. And, some of the videos are monetized, so it does provide a little bit of income. And one of the things I had said to the universe last year was I want to have, my goal was to have 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2015. And I did achieve that technically because it rounded up. So it said 5K subscribers. And, but really I had like 4,900 something. And then on my birthday, I hit 5,000. So I'm not sure if 2015 ended on my birthday because that is the day. My birthday is not on December 31st. It was 12 days later, January 12th. But that's when I did hit 5,000 on my birthday. So it's like the universe hooked it up with the 5K as it rounded up. And then I hit the target 12 days later on my birthday. And my goal for this year is to hit 50,000. As of me doing this right now, I'm very far away from that goal. But there's still a lot of months left in 2016. So that's my goal, is to hit 50,000. We'll see. We'll see if the universe delivers or how it delivers the 50,000. If it gives it like a technicality like it did last year, or if I really hit that 50K. But that's the goal. I can't believe I've been talking for 10 minutes on the author thoughts. The part 2 of this chapter was 22 minutes, and now I just hit 32 minutes. So how was I talking for 10 minutes just now? It took forever to drop the 22 minutes of reading and nothing to do these 10 minutes. One thing I'll add is when writing this chapter, I ended up coming up with the title for my next book. I don't know if I'll ever actually write it, but if I ever do write another book, the title is going to be Voluntary Existence: How to Transform Earth from a Lifetime Prison Sentence to an All-Expenses-Paid Vacation. I don't know if we'll ever get to see that book made, but if I ever love again, if I ever write again, that's the title of it. And that's what the subject matter will be. And it's just, really the point is, compulsory working is terrible. That's enslavement. We've disguised it in the United States, actually worldwide, with the monetary system, where you work, basically you give your life for money. And, it was a nice system and helped get a lot of things built. But, if you listen to Jeremy Rifkin's The Near Zero Marginal Cost Society and the Internet of Things and the Napster for everything, what are they going to do? And everything could be made for free once the free energy technology is revealed. But anyway, I could keep dreaming. I'm trying to live more in the now, the reality of what we have now. But I want to spark the minds to demand the technology, because wouldn't it be nice to voluntarily work? Because right now, the majority of us work because we have to. We have bills. But when you investigate where the bills come from and the reality of it, you're going to find that this is all just a scheme to keep everybody occupied and busy. Because there is no worldwide, other than the New World Order, there is no worldwide goal. other than to keep everybody occupied. So those are my. I just want things to be just and right and freedom. But anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you for listening to this chapter. Chapter 9 is the paranormal. So I'll see you in chapter 9.